The following podcast is a Connect Media production.
It's very important to, take your time, make sure you get the right person.
A team is really assets that come together to help make something bigger.
All right, we're back again for another one.
What's up, y'all?
This is Damon and
Joy.
And today's topic is building a team, the importance of building a team for your business, and what you think about it, or what both of us think about it.
I think that oftentimes when building a team, you tend to grab at straws, whoever you can get at the time. But I've learned when you're sourcing a team, you actually want to really find people with a specific skill that you need, because you need people to add to you. When you're an entrepreneur, you come in with all the knowledge about your business, right? You start everything, you're doing everything, you know everything. But a team is really assets that come together to help make something bigger. And so when you're looking for someone, not necessarily looking for someone who they could just fill the spot, but do they have a skill or a way of doing things that's almost better than you would do in whatever particular role you're looking for?
Right.
And then that makes for a strong team.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, we, of course, because you're trying to grow fast. I know me, I was starting to, at one point I was afraid to hire people, but then after we hired the first two people, I think it began to become a thing where it was I just wanted to hire people, and I just wanted bodies because, we were starting to get more work. We were starting to grow, but I wasn't really hiring the right people. So I kind of was hiring out of being desperate. But I've learned, after hiring a few people, just being desperate, that it's very important to, take your time, make sure you get the right person, and get the right person for the job that you want them to fill. Because, if you might need somebody who's an expert at something, but they might not have the knowledge, but, they might be a good worker, but just don't have the knowledge. So it's still kind of hindering you. Or you might get somebody who has the knowledge, but they don't have the right attitude, or they don't, they're not right for the culture that you are trying to build for your business. So those are some things that I think I learned, and, really it's important to take your time to build your business. As fast as you want to grow it, speeding through it and just throwing people in there, it hinders you more than it helps you.
Now, when you say take your time, I want to keep in mind when you're going through the hiring or recruitment process, that has to be fast. Not necessarily that you have to just pick anybody, but when you are putting up a job post and reaching out to people, as soon as they apply, you want to put a phone call in. So the process of looking for people needs to be fast. Almost the hiring process needs to be fast, but the firing process also needs to be fast. Making sure that the person is right in terms of, do they fit the requirements that you already laid out?
And if they don't, then just move on.
And not, are they perfect? That's not what we're talking about. But if you're hey, the person shows up on time, can they carry the paper across the room? Can they do those things? Do they do those things well in an interview? Do they do those things well the first week? If they don't, move on, let that person go. I have an example where we had somebody on the team and they, missed a day here and there. They didn't quite do an assignment. And because I didn't want to go through the pain of training a new person, I was like, well, they're not that bad. We can hold on. You really had to say hey, you know how this ends because we've been through this cycle before. And once that person was let go and a new person was on the team who I vetted to make sure they had the qualifications, it was like night and day. I had found myself doing some of that other person's work, which is not why you hire somebody. So having the right skill set is important, and having the right culture, somebody with an attitude that is not necessarily go alongish, but peaceful, right? If you have a lot of know-it-alls that interview, and you could tell that by a person's interview. Surprisingly, I thought people aren't going to always tell you the truth, but tell hoes show up and sell hoes every day. So having somebody who's good for your culture is also important, because you can have somebody who's not, and it ruins your team.
My question is, and maybe we still kind of learning this, is the pieces that you hire, and at what point do you hire the managers first? Do you hire the I know for us, we have an electrical contracting business. So it's kind of like, do you hire field guys who go out and do the work? Do you hire CSRs? How do you go about picking what you hire?
Yeah, I think I have learned
Or
this
do it
lesson.
depend on the business that
It depends on your money, number one, the amount of money that you have, and your particular skill set, number two. So the first things in terms of your money, if you are starting your business with some bread, then you want to hire your managers first. You want to hire somebody who can come in and absorb some of the operational things that need to happen, have the ship run so other people can come up under that person. That's if you're starting with some bread. If you're not starting with some bread, you're bootstrapping, you're grinding out, you hustling, you saved all your money, then you're going to start on the lower end with employees because you can actually afford them. You also want to start with the thing that you're not good at. Okay. So if you are technical, right? If you know the trade, you probably need to hire a marketer, a person who's really good at that. Right. You need to hire the balance of you. If you're technical and you're not good at operations, you need to hire an operator, a project manager, a CEO, an office manager, somebody who can make your business a whole business.
Right. I agree. That information is it just depends on what type of business you got. And it's probably good, well, you always say this, is talking to somebody who has a business so they can kind of tell you the order of what works best, what they learned, what they didn't learn. So, talking to that mentor or just talking to somebody who, has been there and done that. But it's definitely, we have learned it and still learning it. Like, having the right people in place is important.
It is important. The importance of talking to people who have a business already. Number one, when you're looking at a business from the outside, even if you worked in a larger version of a business, if you work in a large corporation, you typically are only in one department. So you only actually know what goes on there. So sometimes you have the misconception that, all they do is this.
Right.
All they do is that. It could be if they're a successful business, that's the furthest from the truth. Right. So having that person who's in business already can actually shed light on what your team needs to be, right? If you're a service business, what the pieces need to be to make that run that you may not be aware of. So don't take for granted that because you are familiar with the business or you work in a business already like that you automatically know what it needs. Get you somebody to talk to. It'll save you time, energy, and money.
It is. And sometimes it might not hurt your feelings, but it humbles you. Yeah, it humbles you a little bit. But hey, if they've been there and done that, you're trying to get to where they are. So, it's probably smart to, at least take some of that advice. All right. Well, get you a team, get the right people, hire fast and fire fast. And, make sure that that's our dog in the background agreeing with us. Just make sure that you got the right people for the jobs that you're trying to fulfill.
I agree.
So, signing out.
See y'all next time.